Imagine a drug that can develop the brain to 100%. An ordinary person could have a most powerful brain, can instantly count all the hair of a person, can recall every word of the book you read before, learn all the movements after you watch an action movie. What will happen if this drug is given to a most failed loser? Yeah, Eddie, he's the lucky loser in this story. Eddie was a fiction writer, but he couldn't write anything, wasting his time on the streets all day. Once met Vernon, his ex-wife's brother. Vernon said he was a consultant to mysterious pharmaceutical factory and took out a clear pill and said this is our new drug. Very impressive, $800 a pill. And Vernon decided to give it to Eddie for free. Of course, Eddie accepted. Back to his home, Eddie couldn't resist taking the pills. The beautiful young landlord came to ask for rent, and that's when the drug kicked in. The brain starts to function at its max speed. The world became clear and bright. The details of the landlord were clearly visible. Even Eddie can read what was the landlord thinking. I know something's bothering you. Is it because of your paper, right? The landlord said, how did you know I was writing a paper? Eddie said, I saw the judge books in your bag. Eddie remembered flicking through the book 12 years ago. Then he recalled the whole book in a second. He began to teach the girl how to write papers with all the knowledge in his head. The beautiful landlord also responded nicely immediately, with his superior brain. Eddie helped her finish the paper easily. In return, they have an amazing night afterward. Eddie came home and soon turned his messy room into a cozy place. And he began to write novels and immediately had a lot of good ideas. But when he woke up the next day, the power of the drug had faded away, and Eddie was back to an ordinary person. Eddie submitted the manuscript to the publisher. The publisher was shocked and begged Eddie to continue. So Eddie went to Vernon's house to look for medicine, but he found his brother-in-law dead. Eddie was very frightened. It suddenly occurs to him that the murderer must have been after the drugs. Eddie began to look around and actually found a package of pills. With these pills, Eddie's brain worked 100% every day. He writes a novel in 4 days. He learns to play the piano in 3. He comes to the casino and wins tens of thousands of dollars. He listens to tapes and learns to speak a foreign language. Women cannot resist this charming Eddie. Eddie is attracting all of the attention on every occasion. You mess with the bad guys, you can beat them with kung fu from Bruce Lee. Eddie soon moved into high society, but not enough money. To quickly roll out millions of dollars, one way is to use a variety of financial tools. So he borrowed $100,000 from a loan shark, and he learns stocks, and he learns all the tricks in a flash. Made $2 million in a week. Got his ex-girlfriend back. Then Eddie starts sleepwalking, start forgetting things. He knew it was the drug side effect, but he can't help to have the drugs, and he has to take more and more when the problem became complex and difficult. Until one day he realized he was out of pills. He found that the function of his brain was damaged. He couldn't read any numbers. He went through Vernon's contacts looking for drugs buyers. He made a dozen phone calls looking for people who were either dead or vegetative, until the last phone call he made rang right next to him. Looks like he's already got a buyer following him, trying to take the pills from him. Eddie ran away and finally got rid of the bad guy. Eddie went to find his ex-wife. By this time, the ex-wife also seemed illness bad. Turns out his ex-wife was ruined by Vernon's drugs. The side effects of the medicine were so bad that almost everyone who took it died, only the people who stopped the medicine at a very early stage. Eddie was desperate because he used the drug a lot, and you can die if you stop taking them suddenly. Eddie had only one left on him when a loan shark grabbed him and beat him up and took his pills. Eddie suddenly remembered that he had hidden a package of pills at his girlfriend's house. He finds his girlfriend and confesses everything to her. His girlfriend could not bear to see him in pain and decided to help him get medicine. But on the way back, she was followed by bad guys. The woman got out and ran. The bad guy chased her. Eddie was soon too worried about his girlfriend. His girlfriend was calling Eddie. She is freaked out. Eddie gave his girlfriend a pill at a critical moment. After the girlfriend took the medicine, her eyes became brave. She began to search for weapons, and then she started running, and the killer goes after her. But she ran so fast in high heels that she couldn't even catch up with the killer. She ran into the middle of the ring, and the killer was pulling out his knife. She suddenly picks up a little girl and kills the killer with her skates. She managed to bring back the pills, keep her boyfriend alive. So Eddie, who was about to die, was back at his best. He hired 2 bodyguards to follow him. He found his fancy hotel suite stolen, so the enemy must have been looking for his pills. He bought an anti-burglar room. Civilians is everywhere. The loan shark, he came to Eddie every day for his pills. And Eddie himself had a spy on his side, having his most trusted lawyer steal his pills while taking off his coat. When he found out there wasn't a pill left, Eddie was hiding at home when someone knocked at the door. It was a loan shark who came to rob the medicine. Eddie is caught, and the man opposite pulls out a syringe and injects the drug into a vein. He said it would take longer. Eddie hid the knife behind his back as the other 2 tried to break into the safe. Before long, the bad guy took out his tools and was about to kill Eddie. Suddenly, Eddie sent the bad guys away with a knife. Eddie fell to the ground and saw the bad guy's blood running. There were drugs in the blood. Eddie drank the blood and took down the rest of the bad guys. Eddie paid off his old hitman, killed the lawyer who stole his pills, got his pills back. Then they go to the lab and have researchers copy the drug. A year later, Eddie was running for president of the United States. Eddie's old boss, who now fawns on him, but the boss said to Eddie, "I've destroyed your pharmaceutical lab. From now on, you have to serve me." But Eddie said, "I'm sorry, I could. Now my entire brain has been reprogrammed to never get addicted to drugs again, but my brain is still 100% developed." By this time, the boss was no match for Eddie anymore.